Welcome to the Narrowboat that James built. Hope you're well. Thanks for joining me. Okay, this pocket door needs some work done to it. I've cut up the offcuts from the original template I made, and these are going to go in here just to kind of fill up that area. So I'll glue and clamp them in. You're not going to see that seam across there. You will see those top and bottom ones. But to disguise it, I'm going to kind of treat the outside of this frame in a, well, I had a mahogany one to begin with, but that came out looking a little bit like the same colour as dog shit. So it didn't really work nicely with that, so I've gone for a walnut one, which I think will look nice. And also, my mate Will has found me some strips of walnut which I can use in other areas of the boat, so I think that will work well. So I've got, basically it's 3 coats of that walnut satin varnish to put on, and that's just 1 coat and it hasn't even dried properly yet. But I think that'll look quite nice against the side of the colouring of the boat. Right, so I'm going to put all these on, glue it down and start to sand down this area and kind of get it all nice. The inserts here, these are inlay bits. I've sanded these back, well I have done this one, and it's actually come up quite nice. So I'm going to varnish that so it'll be kind of walnut staining on the outside and just like that kind of colour with a satin finish on the inside, which I think, well, hopefully will look alright. I've got to put some trim on the edges as well, and I've got to work out some kind of handle or like pulley thing. But yeah, all's good. Right, let's get these glued in. Right, I've glued in those 2 panels. I'm just going to apply a little bit of filler here. Not that you're going to be able to see it. I think the wall comes up to about there. So I want to just tidy up these edges. These are okay though. They're pretty tight. Right, I'll leave that for a little while. I really should have done the underside as well and glued them all together, but hey hey. Whilst the door is being glued and drying, I'm thinking I might as well see if I can, before I attach it back on, it's screwed in there to the upright of that bed, but this bit here, obviously still got quite a lot of wobble on it. It's not attached at the top. But what I'm thinking is, whilst I've got access to the back of it, I might as well attach the uprights, taking the floor to ceiling cupboard there. Obviously I'm not going to build it yet, but if I take in the uprights, then at least I can straighten that wall, is what I'm thinking. Right, I've added those 2 in, which is going to be the framing for the cupboard, which goes in there. And it's straightened up the wall a treat. Obviously on the inside it's all pretty flush. I'm going to varnish this just so it's kind of, if it does touch there, then it's going to be all nice and kind of smooth for it. But yeah, that's kind of working out all right. And then the plan is there'll be a bit of timber coming out there, so it's got a 9mm gap there for that piece. So that's all nice and flush. Then I can securely mount some trim onto that. And then it comes round, and again it will go into there, nice and secure the edge of it up to there. Right, those have had a few hours, so I can take the batteries off, flip it around, do the other side, put the batteries back on and let it set. Right, that's the second side glued up. Now I can just let that set. Right, I've applied some clear varnish to the underside of these bits, so I've just flipped it over. Now I'm going to start the first coat of varnish on those 2 bits. Right, you can kind of make out now it's had a coat on the inside. I'm going to let go off still a little bit more, and then I'm going to start with the walnut gloss on that side. Hoping that's going to work a treat. Right, I am going on with the walnut varnish. It's kind of grey in the pot. Can't really see that, but it's going on pretty nicely. Let's crack on. Well, that's looking pretty nice. I like that contrasting colours. So batteries are still on though. I'm going to take them off now. I think it's kind of had long enough, should be all right. And then I can finish that side, let it all dry, and then flip it over. Right, the lower bunk is secured in again, and that wall has had one coat of varnish. This has had 2 coats on the inside now, and I'm going to continue with the walnut. Now I've sanded back those bits. I'm not going to bother with that gap there because you're not going to see it. Well, it's had 1 coat of that walnut varnish. It's really nice to apply. So I'm going to let that go off. It says 4 hours I can recoat it. Right, now it's had 2 coats. I've got to let that dry for a couple hours, then I can give it a light sanding back and put the 3rd coat on. But that's looking pretty nice. Right, I've given that a light sanding now. I'm going to apply the 3rd and final coat. And there she is after 3 coats. That's pretty good. You can't really see those lines as badly as I thought you're going to. Happy days. Right, leave it to dry, flip it over and do it again. I'm really liking the colour contrast of this, so I think I'm going to use more of this walnut and do it around the trim around the fireplace and the kick plate in the galley. I think that'll look pretty good. The only thing I'm worried about is whether it's going to clash with the trim I've already got up in terms of colours. I don't want that to be the case. So I have to check that. Oh wow, yeah, this is really nice. That feels really nice. Cool. Okay, right, now to do the other side, and I think I might see if I can hang it. What way am I hanging it? No, I've done it on the wrong side. Right, I've got to flip over and do it here. Well, happy Easter Sunday, everybody. I have let this stuff go off overnight. Those battens are nicely stuck down now. I've sanded it all back. I'm just going to clean it off, and then I can go on with the 3 coats of walnut varnish around the edges. The middle bits have already had 2 coats of clear varnish, so I'll do a couple more of them. Let's do this. Right, that side's had 1 coat of the walnut varnish. Time for a hot cross bun. I'll let that dry and come and do the 2nd coat. Right, there's the 2nd coat done. These bits here are kind of slowly fading. Kind of putting on a little bit thicker there. Right, well there we go. 3 coats of the walnut varnish, and I've put another coat on the inside there. That's come up really good though. Chuffed with that. Right, I'm going to let that go off. Have some lamb, go and have a look at the lambs, and then come back and hang it. Right, this has had a good few hours now to go off. It's really nice to the touch, so I'm well happy with that. I think I still might need to trim it slightly, which is fine, but I'm going to go and get it hung back up now. Okay, here we go. The door has been hung. So I need to sort out a handle on it, but that is a nice kind of flush fit. The wall will be going up to there. So yeah, a little handle kind of inset to there somehow. There she is. I'm well glad I put that one on. It does make, well, it makes it all kind of work properly as a door and look nice. I could do with glossing this because, well, just because I could. You'll see there the door does obviously have a lot of movement to it because it's got a nice, look at that there, that line there. Now I've brought the wall straight. That is bang on. And inside there, that's how it's working. There we go. Get that out of the way. So yeah, when the other bit of the wall's up, it's kind of keeping that bit in. The door won't flex. Well, it shouldn't do. That's the plan. Obviously, I'll put that bit of wall up and put it all to the test. I can now see where I need to trim a little bit, and I need to put the handle on it and the trim. But all of that stuff can be done kind of at another time, because for now, yeah, the door works. And like at the bottom, the wheels, the casters, what they're called, on there. Look at that. That is just like, that is just absolutely spot on. So it just means I need a 5mm floor, which lino is probably what I'm going to end up going for, and lino comes in 4 or 6mm. If I need to, I can change the door. I can change the height of it. Basically, I can bring it up by another. I've got about 1 centimetre to play with, so it's okay if I need to raise it. Obviously, once I put this wall on, that's going to be quite tricky. I think in terms of accessing it, if it was to really foul up, I'm thinking I might be able to take all this apart. I'm putting it together with that kind of in mind. The trim on this cupboard is now on, and I'm thinking that if I was to do that bottom kick plate in the walnut, obviously it's not going to be the same colour. That is going to clash. I don't really want to have 3 different shades, but I quite like all this to be in that walnut now. And I haven't finished glossing this because, well, now I'm thinking I might try it with a bit of the walnut on that stuff, on a bit of test bit of this, and see if it kind of comes up the right shade. I'm hoping it will work on that, just darken it, because even though I thought the grain on it is nice, it's not, there's not that much grain on it, to be honest. The grain on the ply is nicer than that. On that sapele wood, I think it's an African redwood. I mean, on one side of the grain's really nice, but this cross grain is less so. So, you know, I've worked quite hard at that piece, and it's not exactly. So yeah, I'm going to give this a go. See, with only one coat, that's noticeably darker. I think that would look pretty good against the grain. Something darker. Yeah, that's going to be a bit more striking, I'm thinking. I'm well happy about this. I mean, the action on the door is really nice. But the way it looks, yeah, I'm really chuffed with it. I didn't kind of think it was going to come out that good. That Ronseal varnish goes on well nicely. It's kind of it takes 4 hours or whatever to do 3 coats, certainly in a kind of a warm environment like this. So yeah, that was decent. Loads of learnings, because I said this is my first of 3 pocket doors. But I've already made improvements on the kind of the way it's being kind of the track for the next one. The next one I've got to do is kind of where the camera is now. It's the bathroom bulkhead. So I'm not sure yet what kind of design door I'm going to do on that. Same with this one here, because the dinette one, because they're kind of important visibility ones. So I'm not saying that's not exactly unattractive, but I'm not sure about this kind of thing being the kind of the middle parts of the doors for the dinette. I think it can be better than that. I'm thinking of perspex, but we'll see. But yeah, I'm kind of got to work out the handle. Got to make sure obviously it doesn't foul on anything, but I do need to trim this a little bit. But this walnut is going to be the way to go. I love the way it contrasts against the colour there, because kind of that works really nicely. yeah, that's just, yeah, that looks pretty classy, so I'm going to like that. And Will's got a load of walnut for me, so it means that the one for the kitchen, sorry, the galley, I think it's good because the kick plate is going to get scuffed, and obviously the darker it is, kind of the less likely you're going to see those scuffs. It means I'm going to have to sand back all those other bits of trim to enable me to put on that stuff, and I'm going to have to mask it off because a lot of it's already been glossed. So, but I think it will look a lot better doing it that way. So I'm going to continue with this colour scheme, I guess, throughout the boat, which is yeah, decent. I'm not sure about, I said, about those other two doors, but I will come to them. Next thing I need to do is kind of the cupboard in here and the bed. I think the middle bit, sorry, the upper bunk, I'm going to make out of steel, which involves welding, and I'm going to try to do it myself, even though Dan, Sweary Dan, is 2 boats behind me and is a competent welder. I've got all the stuff. I've got some time now, so I think sod it. Let's do it myself. It can't be that hard, really. It's only a a rectangular shape out of kind of box steel, so it should be all right. But I think then I can hinge it onto that wall and build it into this cupboard, and I'm thinking that's going to be the way to go. And then I can work on the dinette. So yeah, got quite a lot to crack on with still for this week coming up, but I'll be at the boat quite a lot, so should be able to get quite a lot done. Thank you very much to David and to Scott for buying me some coffees. Hope you guys had a really good Easter Sunday, whatever you did. Until tomorrow, take care. Bye bye.